Welcome back to the Acoustic Shoppe channel. I am John here with Jeremy. We are your official source of all things acoustic. And today we are going to be talking about the Atkin Essential D. This is a great guitar that comes all the way from England. We're going to tell you all of the specs of it. We're going to tell you who should be the person buying it. And we're even going to tell you what we think about it. We're going to do all of that stuff right after this. All right, Jared, we are back, and this time talking about another Atkin guitar. Not a whole lot of people know about Atkin guitars. Did you know that?
A lot of people know about his diet, but not the guitar so much.
Yeah, that's good job. I'm so proud of you.
I think I was on the Atkin diet for a little bit.
You do some amazing
I would be on an
things
Atkin diet of guitars if I could.
Yeah,
Am I right?
There you go. Anyway, if you have not yet done so, please do hit the subscribe button, the like button, any of the buttons that you see on here, except for the down one. Don't do that one. That one's not a good button. And
it's still interaction.
Well, yeah, get on there and tell us what you guys think about these guitars and other things that you'd like to see. So do that. Atkin guitars are fabulous. A lot of you are kind of knowing them from our channel because of the white rice model. That has been extremely popular for us. Like every single one we've got in for the last year and a half has been sold before it even arrives. And those are fantastic guitars, but lesser known is this one, which is the Essential D. And that's exactly what it is. It's an Essential Dreadnought guitar.
Everything you need in a Dreadnought. The essential parts.
I agree. And it has all the stuff that is normal to Atkin, including the torfied tops and all solid builds. Very pre-war sounding, huge guitar. This guitar is absolutely huge.
In tone, not size.
And I think that's why everybody has been so impressed with their guitars. It's a modern build, but it doesn't sound.
It sounds like
an
old guitar, yeah.
They're just big. And these guitars, I'll get into the specs for them. This guitar prices out at $41.99, obviously in a Dreadnought style body, has a mahogany back and sides, and a Sitka spruce top that has been baked or thermo-cured or torrified. However you want to say it, that's what's been done to it.
Shake and bake, baby.
Here you go. The neck is mahogany with an ebony fretboard as well as tortoiseshell binding all throughout. It has an ebony head plate, ebony fretboard and bridge. I think I already said that. A dual action truss rod, a bone nut and saddle with the nickel Goto tuners on here as well.
The Gotos are my go-tos.
Are they? That's great, Jeremy. Thank you. Pre-war scallop bracing and a very thin nitrocellulose lacquer that has been aged, so you'll see that crackle finish all throughout it. And that continues all the way through the neck as well. You'll have a gloss thin finish of nitro that will definitely wear pretty darn quick on this. So if you are into that satin, it'll do more like what a vintage guitar will do. Does of course come with a hard shell case, and this particular model comes in at 1 3/4 in the nut width. Now, standard for most of the Atkin guitars is going to be 11/16, but the one that we have, and most of the ones that we've been ordering have been there. Every once in a while I'll order it with a 11/16, but they've
Just
been...
to mix it up a bit.
Yeah, there you go. Scale length on this guitar is 25.4 inches and is an overall cannon of a guitar. I mean, this guitar literally fits that line of cannon when you hit it. There's just...
Stand right next to a banjo player and drown them out.
Yeah, do you like that bend here?
No. That one either. But it's not the guitar's fault. No, excellent guitars. Like you were saying, the nitro finish, he does kind of that crazing on it, so it already looks a little antiqued, which is nice. I kind of like it. Some people want a pristine looking finish, but I think
this still has the gloss.
It fits Atkin style.
Yeah, he has been starting to make some of these lately with more of the aged, like very vintage looking. It's got wear and tear and all that stuff. But this is not that. You can get any of his guitars in a mirrored finish, so fully, mirrored, no crackle, no any of that stuff.
Brand new looking.
Or you can get it in this vintage finish. And by far, most people have been really liking
It's
this
a slightly
style.
thinner finish, right? So it'll
It
make it
is.
sound a little bit bigger and
Absolutely.
boomier.
And I think that's why they sound so big. We're going to get into our ratings for this right now and tell you exactly what we think here. On a scale of 1 to 10, let's talk about the tone of this guitar. And
We're going all the way to 10 this time. We normally go to 5. But
oh, I'm sorry.
This
We're
is a
just
Canon, so you might add another 5 points to it.
Did I say 10?
Yeah, we're going to go
All
1 to
right.
5 on this, John.
This was on a scale of 1 to 11.
I need a knob that just goes to 11. In like price range,
What's $4,200 is, I know for some people that's expensive, but this is a boutique style guitar. It's not crazy expensive.
no. So we're going to compare it again against kind of that early price range boutique guitar.
I think this guitar finds a very interesting spot for me. It's a less refined sound than some of our stuff like the bourgeois sound and the calling sound, which is just very, detailed, tighter response. This is more for that person that wants a big, very vintage Martin, boomy, just kind of just growls at you. So if that's the style you're looking for, I'm going to give this a 4.75, mainly because it's just big. There is no other guitar I've played in the past, I don't know how many years, that does what this does so well.
Yep. I agree, and especially in that price range, because like I said, we love Thompson guitars as well, and they have that tone that you're talking about, that just huge, open poppy sound, but they are quite a bit more expensive in price, the majority of them. So I'd definitely put this right at that 4.5 in the tone.
Setup and playability. Again, these come over with light gauge strings. We put mediums on it today because, you're going to start seeing, we decided to keep me from blowing up these guitars. We're going to
It's kind of an
set
unfair
up most of
comparison
them.
because John beats him up.
Yeah, so, but we were surprised. I played this guitar with lights. We put the mediums on today. This guitar begged for mediums. As soon as that happened, it even came that much more to life. Setup wise, it is a very low, easy to play guitar. I can still get it to bottom out a little bit, but that's not hard for me to be able to do. So in that case, I'm going to give it a 4.5.
Yeah, I got to play it on a little bit earlier, and it definitely set up so easy and smooth, and we really haven't had to adjust it or anything. That's just kind of the way it came. Like I said, you put the medium gauge strings on it, but otherwise, setup on them is excellent. So I'll give it a 4.5 as well.
There you go. Build quality. This is a unique deal. This does have a bolt-on neck, and I think some people are going to give it grief because of the fact that it does have this super thin finish. That will wear a whole lot faster than what most finishes in most new guitars are coming in with right now. For example, the finish that Dana uses, their vintage, is very thin like this, but is a much harder finish than what this is. And yes, you will wear through this. You will get marks. You will get scratches fairly easy.
It's going to look like Willie Nelson's guitar in a week. Is what it's
No, I'm not saying that. It will definitely, I think it's closer to what the actual formulation of the original pre-war guitars was more like, which, as you guys have all seen, gets a lot of wear and tear through the neck. You'll start to see the finish kind of wear off. And I think that's what's going to happen. But that's also why it sounds so huge. So, for me, it's an overall really, really great build. Super light, well done. I don't know that I think it's the cleanest build that I've ever seen. So in that, I'll give it a little bit knocks there. So for me, I'm going to say this is about a 4-star in this range because of just little things.
Yeah, I think I would agree with you on that assessment. The build quality, you can't knock his ability as a builder.
No,
I think just some of the choices on this
there.
guitar, and maybe it's because we're doing that more vintage finish on it, that lets you get away with a little bit more because it's already got some of the crazing on it. And I noticed that, I guess that would be more aesthetically that the neck color and the body color for both being mahogany are slightly different variants on those. But build quality overall, he's a great builder. The quality of the fit and finish on it is really up there, so I'm going to give it about a 4 as well.
These are definitely not things that would keep me from buying one of these guitars. It's just, we're trying to be fair. We're trying to rate this against guitars that are in this upper boutique realm. As far as the aesthetics and the looks, this is a mixed bag for me. I have a couple things that I don't love. I also think it does a really good job. I'm not a huge fan of the amount of toner that is being put into the finish on these tops. It almost gives it a pumpkin color. That said, if you look at a lot of the Martin guitars from that late to mid 50s, they have a very pumpkin-y looking top. Looks wise, I get the slide decal that is on here. Martin used a slide decal as well, so people give him grief about that. I'd prefer to see a Pearl logo on these particular guitars, being that it's just a little bit more vintage styled. But, you know, those are my things. Like you said, a little bit of finished color matching would have been a little bit nicer. It's more of that, the toner color stuff. But as far as the rest of it, it looks right to me all the way. So in that case, I'm going to go with a 4.25.
Wow, you're getting these like micro points here.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to disagree with you a little bit on some of those statements. I actually like the crazing and the aged, the thin tone or the thin finish on those. I did, like I said, notice that the mahogany of the neck and the body are quite different colors. But as far as the headstock logo, I really like Atkins. It reminds me more of the old Gibson kind of screen logos.
And I agree with you.
I'm a big fan of that. I like it. Definitely doesn't have that boutique look with a really nice pearl inlay, but it has that more vintage Gibson, like, what do they call the banner logo. So I actually like his logo a lot. I'm going to give it a 4.5 on appearance. I just actually, besides the neck color not really matching the body, that's the only thing that really stood out to me on that.
Yeah. And by the way, I do like this logo. I'm not against this. He does build a J45 style guitar. Absolutely, to me, that fits there. I just would prefer to see that. So there's why you're wrong. As far as the Shoppe sustainable, I really don't know how I'm sure he's doing a great job of that. I cannot verify that.
It's harder to verify sometimes with smaller builders.
Absolutely. And so we are not going to give this a Shoppe sustainable rating. It does not necessarily, it's not that it doesn't, we just don't know it. So
we'll plant 5 trees in England for everyone we sell.
Overall value, this is where I think this guitar absolutely rocks. This guitar plays way above its weight. You would expect, you know, in playing this guitar, like you were saying, those are the upper bills, the Bouchers, the Bourgeois, the stuff that's a couple $2,000 or $3,000 above this price, if not $4,000 above where we're at right here for similar wood choices. And this guitar, if not performs exactly with them, may outperform them, especially if you're looking for that big, huge Canon style guitar. I don't know anybody that's doing it, and that's, you know, right now, anybody who's doing it quite the way that Atkin is. So to me, that's where I find this to be a big, big value, and I'm going to give it a 5-star.
You know what? I was gonna go for that 5 as well, because I think what you just mentioned, we normally go in like levels, and in this price range, you're getting probably the most guitar you can get out of that amount of money. So for value, I'd give it a 5.
Absolutely.
And even in the case with the little logo on the case and all that.
I like the case a lot. I think it looks really, really attractive. I like the screen printed logo. Like I said, it's not the logo. It's just, I'm used to traditional pearl inlays.
We're allowed to disagree.
Yeah, well, you're wrong. And that's all we need to know about it. As far as, you know, who the buyer is for this guitar, again, I find this to be for a flat picker, somebody who wants just as much volume, as much power as they can possibly get for their buck. And
there's 2 reasons for a flat picker wanting that. One is if they really want a loud guitar and they just want to be able to compete with a loud band, but also some really intricate flat pickers want to be able to play lighter and still get some volume out of their instrument, where this one, you don't have to play as hard to get some huge projection on it. So definitely a flat picker that's kind of light-handed would really advantage from a guitar like this that projects so well.
As far as what this sounds more like, I compare it closer to a vintage heavily worn guitar. You mentioned Thompson, and Thompson does have a very pre-war style build, but that sound of that guitar still sounds like a pre-war build as if it were built brand new. Where to me, this doesn't sound like a new guitar. This sounds like a guitar that has absolutely been played and played hard for a long period of time. So I don't really have, I mean, it's in that Martin character, but it's beyond that. It's got bigger, bolder, bigger sustain. So I really don't have a guitar that I personally can go, this sounds a lot like the blah, blah, blah. It's like it took that and went another step further into that big category.
That makes sense.
Does it?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, so it's a great guitar. Cons of this one for me is going to be the wear and tear on it. I know we're going to be seeing.
I think that it lets you know that you're staying in first position too much. Because you're going to have some wear there. You got to start working your way up the neck and get some wear up there.
Yeah.
That's the whole purpose behind it, I think.
Other than that, I really don't have a whole lot of major problems with this particular guitar. I just think it's going to be a really good value guitar for somebody who's
want to
looking
be able
for
to
big.
eat carbohydrates.
Is that what
the
it
only
is?
downside I have.
Yeah, I got you.
Atkin diet. It's spelled different, guys.
I appreciate you, Jerry, very, very much. I really do. That's what I tell my kids when they do stuff like that. I appreciate you very, very much.
You're welcome.
Anyway, what we're going to do right now is kind of get you a tone sample, and then we'll get you our final thoughts right after this. Well, there you have it, Jer. I think this is a huge guitar. I mean, I keep saying that, but it's just so big. Every time I hit it, it's just like, bam!
For clarity, we're not talking the actual physical dimensions of the guitar, but just
about the
tonally,
sound.
It fills a room.
It does.
Quite impressive instrument.
There's no other guitar in recent memory for myself.
Probably strum this in England and hear it over here.
It is very possible. This will blow trees down. You go out in the forest, boom, it's just going down. Anyway, if you'd like to hear more of this guitar, we actually had Corey sit down with it for a little while, played some really cool stuff, and played it for about, 5-10 minutes of just solid listening to this guitar. And we got a link to this video right here. You should click that and check it out. And guys, we're going to do more and more guitar, mandolin, banjo, all these different reviews in the future. So stick around. It's going to be a whole bunch of fun.
See you next time.
See ya. Bye-bye.